Okay, so I have a confession to make. I was not going to make this video, but I prayed on it last night, and this morning I woke up and realized I had to. For the last 24 hours, a lot of Black business owners, particularly Black women who I adore and admire and have supported, have come out and made videos about their products in Target. I won't mention any of the names because, again, these are women that I support and who I'm a fan of and who I've been rooting for as long as they've been out in the public zeitgeist. They've been making these videos saying, hey, I understand that you do not want to support Target because of DEI initiatives being rolled back by Target, but my business, my small Black business, whatever I'm doing is in Target, and if you don't support Target, just know that I'm going to be taking a hit. And the responses to these videos have understandably been very, very mixed. Some of you saw those videos and immediately started dragging them. And I understand because you were saying, girl, if we're not supporting Target, we're not supporting Target. Others of you said, hey, as a Black business owner myself, I completely understand where they're coming from because it's already so hard for Black businesses to get any sort of mainstream attention. I understood both sides immediately and was conflicted. I even DM'd Bridget, who I have a podcast with, and said, Bridget, we're going to have to address this on our pod because this is a conundrum, right? This is Black women being held to task. And I also understand where they're coming from. So I went to bed last night without an answer. But then this morning, something in me shifted where the answer became very, very clear. For those of you who are new to me, I'm an emotional intelligence coach. I have been teaching emotional intelligence workshops since 2008. And so I said, Blue, lean on the thing that you know best. Lean on emotional intelligence. And when I thought about the things that I teach my clients and my students, the thing that I probably say the most to everybody who comes to me for a consultation is, do not set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. I'm going to repeat that one more time. I constantly, for 20 years now, have been telling people, do not set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. And once I remembered that North Star that has kept me on the right side of history for decades now, I realized, ladies, I love you and I support you. Stop making those videos because you are literally asking consumers to set themselves on fire to keep you warm. Trust me, I understand the desire to make those videos, right? 3 years ago, I was working in a really toxic environment that was paying me 5 figures a month. And it counted as 80% of my income. 80% of my income came from this toxic environment that was eating my soul. And they had a lack of integrity and moved in a way that I could not stand with. And guess what I had to do? I had to quit. I gave up 80% of my income in 2022 in order to preserve my integrity. And I had hard days. I had bills that didn't get paid. Shit was tricky. And yet I had to figure it the fuck out and pivot. And so respectfully, and I hate saying this because I love Black women so much, respectfully, God is telling you to pivot. God is not telling you to guilt your customers. God is telling you to work on your websites and figure out other ways to get to your fan bases. Revolution is not meant to be comfortable. Revolution is not meant to be convenient. Revolution is supposed to rock you at your core. How can you dismantle the system when you won't even dismantle your own personal attachments? So even though I was stuck, I was up and I was stuck all yesterday, I spoke to God. I referred back to my notes. I went back to my own personal experiences and realized that if I could give up 80% of my income when my mother was in the hospital fighting for her life with a bunch of medical bills, I can't now sit here while the world is burning and Nazi sympathizers in office sit here and let my own sisters not pay the dues. The dues that come with revolution. And to any other Black businesses that are currently in Target and Walmart, do not make any more of those videos. Because even though I understand where you are coming from, I get it. The coach in me is also very clear that subconsciously you're being manipulative. Subconsciously, which means you're not doing it on purpose. Subconsciously, you're hoping that people will feel so bad for you that they will cross the picket lines in order to support you. And that is not just. And it's actually really unfair to put your followers in that position. Stop. No more of those videos. The part of you that wants to make those videos needs to die off so the part of you that is committed to finding another way can take its place. Again, respectfully. Oh, and P.S. For those of you who have been like, well, how y'all mad at so-and-so for telling their customers to go to Target when y'all still on X and Twitter and Instagram and Threads and TikTok, who's also run by the devil? That's a false equivalency. Look to your neighbor and say false equivalency. Someone choosing to remain on a platform is a personal decision. They're saying, I'm choosing to remain on this platform to stay connected to my constituents, and they're allowed to choose if they want to meet me here or not. I'm giving you my choice, and you have your choice. That's very different than guilting people passive-aggressively into crossing the picket lines against their own best interest. One is a one-on-one relationship between me and the platform, and I'm allowing whoever's on the platform to see me, and whoever isn't just won't. That is allowing your audience to have free agency. But the minute you make a video that guilts people into supporting you, that's no longer free agency and it's no longer one-on-one. It's actually a manipulation tactic. They are not the same.
24 hours later.
James Baldwin once famously said, if I love you, I have to make you conscious of what you don't see. So I've always been taught to believe that if somebody really, really cares about you, that means they respect you enough to tell you when you have a blind spot or have unintentionally made a misstep. Yesterday, I made a video that was steeped in nothing but love. And yet, a lot of you who believe that you are above reproach lashed out about things I didn't say and proved my point that you were emotionally acting out from a scarcity mindset rather than doing logical good business. Not only have your responses proven my point, it's also underscored that we cannot be hypocrites right now. We can't keep slamming the GOP for being willfully ignorant and above reproach while turning around and doing the same thing when we're met with love and critique. Hey, boys and girls, if you had to take a guess, what group do you think benefits the most from DEI? Right? We keep on hearing that acronym, and it keeps getting used like woke and thug, right? It keeps getting used like an iteration of the N-word with the hard ER. So I decided to look up which group benefits the most from DEI. And guess who it was? White women. White women are the top recipients of DEI initiatives, followed by white male CEOs. So you mean to tell me this entire time that y'all were saying DEI as if you were calling us niggas, it's actually white women and white male CEOs who benefit the most from DEI? Interesting. Did some further digging to see, well, of the minorities, how do minorities break down when it comes to DEI initiatives? And guess what? I got a list. Want to hear it? Let's go. Okay, so now that we've established that DEI actually benefits white women the most, with their CEO husbands coming up right behind them, when it comes to minorities, let's go down the minority list of who benefits the most from DEI. Number 1, Latinos and Hispanics. Number 2, Asian Americans. Number 3, Native Americans. Number 4, the disabled community. Number 5, veterans. Number 6, the LGBTQ plus community. And coming in absolutely fucking last when it comes to benefiting from DEI is Black Americans. Black people only constitute 4%, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4% of DEI positions in the workplace. So what are we really even arguing about right now? And for those of you who are wondering, how is this possible? How and why are white women the ones who are benefiting so heavily, even though Black people are getting all the blame? Well, a man named Chris Metzler, the senior VP of corporate DEI and environmental, social, and governance strategies at the National Urban League. God, Chris, you got a hell of a title. When Chris was talked to about NBC News about this conundrum, right? This whole, why is it white women who are doing so much? He said, and I quote, most diversity professionals at these companies report to HR, and HR is usually headed by white women and sometimes white men. That's why they benefit the most. So even though we're saying DEI as if it's the N-word, Kathy from HR is making sure that her sisters are the ones who are actually benefiting. Ain't that about a bitch?